So, Tim, a change in the starting lineup for the North Georgia Saints.
Yeah, Vince Ray is going to be in there. Excuse me, Vince Ray is going to be in there instead of Shumbay Hunter, Errol Seaman, Matt Pugh, Clyde Thompson, and Gus Brown. For the Hurricanes out of Americus, Georgia, you've got Harris, Miles, Dees, Scott, and Bryan. As we said, they got the number 2 and number 3 scorers in the conference, that being Miles and Scott. Scott's also the number 2 rebounder in the conference, as Ernest Scott and Matt Pugh look to jump it up right here. And we're underway as the Canes control the tip. Hurricanes dressed in navy with white trim and golden white on the shorts. North Georgia in their home white, trimmed in royal blue. And feed over to the top of the key, Ernest Scott. He pulls up inside the three-point line. Rebound, Vince Ray. North Georgia looking to move quick. Feed it over to Clyde. Clyde pulls up, takes a three. Good.
Well, that's what we always want to hear. Clyde Thompson for 3.
And bring it down court. Harris feeds it over to Bryan. Bryan looking. They're spreading it out. The Canes looking to work it. Full court pressure by, or good man-to-man pressure by North Georgia, rather. As they work it around. Look, drive to the lane, pull back out. Shot clock's at 15. Kicked it back out to Harris. Feed it inside. Shot, hook, good. Ernest Scott, the junior out of Eatonton, Georgia, with the points. It's 3-2 after Clyde Thompson's tray give North Georgia the initial lead. They work it down to Pugh. Back over to Brown. Brown looking. Feeds it back over to Thompson. He pulls up. Feed inside to Pugh. Off the glass. No good. Rebound out of bounds. It's going to be North Georgia's ball.
Oh, as you mentioned, Clyde going to go with a 3, but then Matt Pugh with a short little shot missed it.
And kicking it inbounds for North Georgia underneath. And pull it up. Ray with a shot. Rebound control. Check that, Georgia Southwestern. And stolen away by Clyde Thompson. 3-on-2 break. Thompson pulls up for Trey. Yes!
Well, he did this one of the game you and I have seen this year. He started out hot from three-point land.
And bring it back up for the Canes is Mariel Harris. He's a junior out of Butler, Georgia. Looks to feed it inside, feeds it inside, turn around, kicked it back out. Pull up, shot, no good. Rebound, control the Hurricanes. Fadeaway jumpers, no good. Rebound, Vince Ray. Kicks it out quickly to Clyde Thompson. Thompson to Pugh, and it's knocked away out of bounds by the Hurricanes.
On the other end of the court, Vince Ray with 2 defensive boards early on in the game.
And Clyde looking to get a streak in Matt Pugh, hopefully for an alley-oop. But the Hurricanes were successfully defending that one. Over to Clyde for 3. Good!
Clyde Thompson, the leading three-point shooter in the conference percentage-wise, is hot from that area tonight.
Coming into this game, he had scored 92 from 3 points, or 92 three-pointers. That's more than anybody in the conference. As pull-up jumper, we got a push-off foul on Georgia Southwestern. Dwayne Miles pushing off, got a charge. North Georgia out to a 9-2 lead, all of it coming from the hands of Clyde Thompson. Clyde was wanting to play tough this game.
He was the leading scorer for North Georgia in the loss to Southwestern Americas.
They may be hanging on Clyde next time he takes a tray. Vince Ray hand the ball out of Habersham. Look down low to Gus Brown, and he's called for travel.
Give me a chance to also say a couple of local people for Southwestern. Assistant coach Jeff Osmond used to coach at Trent McConnell. Pat Dees played at White County High School. His dad, Peter, is a coach at White County High.
And work down low. Canes look inside. Kicked it off to Harris. Harris pulls up inside the three-point line. His shot's good. 9-4 is the score.
Ooh, nice little shot by Harris.
With someone hanging on him, Clyde Thompson brings it up. Kicks it over to Ray. Feed down to Pugh. Gus Brown looking to work. Draws the lane. Free down low to Seaman. Stole away by Dees. As he brings the possession up. Harris pulls up. And he's got another shot. 9-6 is the score. We're inside 17 minutes.
Well, they're finding the holes in the North Georgia defense on a transition game.
Thompson brings it up. Harris has been hanging on him. He's working on him. He loses the ball, finds the handle, kicks it over to Ray. And you got Pugh working the ball. He's got Miles on him. Back over to Ray. Ray looks, pulls up. His shot's good, no good, but he's going to be at the line to shoot a couple.
Foul before the shot.
Dees out of Cleveland is going to be called with a foul.
Pat's a senior for Southwestern, as I mentioned. He played 4 years at White County High School.
Randolph Barksdale, the coach for Georgia Southwestern. They're coming into this game with a 20-9 record. North Georgia at 14-14. As the first shot's good.
But of course, the big thing with the records is that conference record. Southwestern in 3rd place,
with a
North Georgia in 4th.
Yeah, with a 9-4 and an 8-5 record respectively, as Ray hits both of his free throws. It's 11-6. And Harris brings it down, looking to feed it over to Dees. He looks to drive the baseline, pulls it back out. Trying to feed down low. North Georgia cutting it off. Shot down low, turnover by the Canes.
So the Saints want to now score off that miscue from Southwestern.
North Georgia coming off an 88-70 loss down at Mount Vernon last week in conference play. Georgia Southwestern went over to Rome and thumped Shorter 87-55. As we have a turnover, and we got a shot up by Miles. It's good, and it's a three-pointer.
So Southwestern ends up scoring off the turnover.
As we said, Clyde come out and hit his first 3 shots, all of them from three-point land. And they've had somebody hanging on him the rest of the night as Gus takes a shot, and it's good. Just inside the three-point line, it extends the lead, 13-9. We're at 15.5 minutes to go. As Harris working on Ray, and nearly turns it over, but they find the handle. Canes are working. Scott kicks it back out over to Miles. As Harris works it around, as we said, Vince Ray, he tries to drive. He goes off his foot, North Georgia's ball.
Tim Adams comes into the game for Georgia Southwestern. He wears number 12.
North Georgia holding on to a 4-point lead. Thompson brings the possession up. Feed it down to Pugh. Back over to Gus Brown. He looks, drives, kicks it off to Vince Ray, rather. Back over to Gus. Gus over to Clyde. Clyde pulls up. His shot, no good. And we've got rebound controlled by the Canes.
Clyde not quite squared up with that left-hand dribble.
Off the screen, he tried to work it. Shot down low for the Canes. Rebound control by the Canes. Back up off the glass. No good. Shot still missed. Rebound, Gus Brown.
Barksdale saying go inside for Southwestern.
And Gus Brown, he is the leading rebounder for North Georgia. Pull that one down. Seaman with the ball. Back over to Gus. Gus looking. Feeds it down low to Ray. Ray working. Looks, pulls up for his shot. It's up, no good. And rebound, Clyde Thompson. He drives, and ball is partially blocked, turned over. And the Canes come up with it, stolen back by Vince Ray. Over to Clyde, look out. Feed back down. Here comes Matt Pugh. And it's stolen away. He regains possession, and it's going to be the Canes ball.
Looks like it's in the backyard, Tim. A little out of control for the Saints on the offensive end.
And we've got a media timeout. We'll take a break. You're tuned to AM 1210 and STC Channel 4.
Game, if Southwestern decides to go against Clyde Thompson a little closer, but I think that's going to really open up Matt Pugh.
And they're going to have a different look when they come back out on the floor. A lot of substitutions. You got Pugh, Shumbay Hunter, Vince Ray, Josh Millsap, and Emmett Stevens for North Georgia. Possession kicks into Tim Adams. Shumbay guarding him. He works it up. Shumbay with very aggressive defense. Quickness this time down for North Georgia. As Miles looks, kicks it out to Harris. His shot's up, no good. Rebound control by the Hurricanes. And Scott looking for an outlet. He turns around, kicks it over to Miles. He takes a three. It's up, and it's no good. Rebound, Vince Ray. He kicks it over. Shumbay quickly up court. And back quickly on defense is the Hurricanes. Emmett Stevens works the ball back over to Ray. Emmett trying to work it. Looking. Calling for Vince Ray. Vince Ray being guarded by Harris. And Stevens looks, kicks back out Feed inside to Pugh, turn around, off the glass, no good, and he's going to be at the line to shoot a couple.
Tell you what, Tim, I like what Coach Randy Dunn did during that timeout as he took Thompson out of the game, brought in Millsap and also Emmett Stevens, gave Southwestern a different look, and probably what Coach Barksdale said during his timeout didn't mean a thing for Southwestern. Vince Ray running the offensive show. Matt Pugh now the go man.
And Pugh's shot bounces in and out. As you said, it means nothing. He was adjusting to another lineup, and North Georgia surprised him with a whole different look coming out. More quicker type of an offense. And Pugh looks set for a second. His shot's up, and it's good. 14-9 to score. We're at 13:04 here to go in the first half. Emmett Stevens is working on Adams. I check that. Shumbay's working on Adams. Emmett Stevens is on the hot scorer. That's number 52, Tony Bryan. And Bryan with the ball. Turnaround, jumpers up, and it bounces in good. 14-11's the score. Ray to kick it in. Back over to Shumbay. Brings it up. He's being guarded by Adams. Over to Millsap. Stevens looks, pulls up, trying to feed it down low, and turns it over. Here comes the Canes with the numbers, and we got a foul on the floor. It's going to be called on Vince Ray. Yes, it is. Vince Ray. First team foul for North Georgia. Hurricanes have 3.
And that's going to play also important too, Tim. The games you and I have seen, North Georgia's got in foul trouble way too many times.
And the Canes kick it in, and we've got a three-point shot taken and missed. Rebound off the hands of, as they pointed for the Canes and said white ball, so it is North Georgia's ball. Full court pressure by the Canes. Emmett Stevens brings it up, kicks it back to Shumbay. Shumbay working the ball, being guarded by Adams. Works off Emmett Stevens' screen, and we got a blocking foul called on Emmett Stevens. I thought Emmett was set that time.
They say he set the screen a little too late.
And Clyde Thompson checks back in, gives Vince Ray a break.
Good job by Vince. He got the start tonight.
14-11's the score, 12:06 to go. Hurricanes with the ball. As Clyde Thompson, as we said, checked back into the game. Adams working on Shumbay Hunter. Adams working, takes it off his knee, picks it up, kicks it over to Mark Gaines. He's out of Cairo, Georgia. Beat it down low. Scott working, turn around, fade away. His shot's up, no good. Tip, Thompson nearly had it back to Scott. Scott off the glass, good. Ernest Scott, he's a 6'6 junior out of Eatonton.
You mentioned he was the second leading scorer on this team. He played at Putnam County High School.
And Shumbay Hunter brings it up. Looking to work, down low, nothing there. Pugh takes a 3. It's up, no good. Bounce tip back in, Hurricanes control. And they move down the court. And shots up by Miles, no good. Pulled, rebound, fighting down low. And we got a foul that's going to go against the Hurricanes. And that's their 4th team foul. It's going against Mark Gaines.
Webster Daniel coming into the game for North Georgia. The big man from Atlanta.
As does Pat Dees out of Cleveland. He's a kid that played at White County. And Shumbay brings it up. Still handling the ball handling duties for North Georgia. Looks to penetrate. He goes up with a shot. No good. Well, Josh Millsap caught the errant shot and put it in. And your score is 16-13. We're inside 11 minutes to go. As Adams is working the ball. Aggressive defense that time by Hunter. Over to Gaines. And Shumbay backs off this time. Looks to run. Here Gaines feeds inside to Scott. He's looking to turn around back to Gaines. Shot clock's at 10. He's working. Kicks it back over to Scott. He looks. He drives. He comes up, dish off, and it's good off the glass. I believe that shot went to Tony Bryan.
The Saints did such a good job eliminating the out-in pass, but then all of a sudden he gets open.
And they cut it to 1. It's 16-15. Here's Shumbay. He catches back up the ball. Off the glass. Bounces in and out. Rebound control by Southwestern. And Southwestern comes up with a possession. Adams brings it down. Scott looks, takes a 3. No good off the front of the rim. On the floor. Fights. Gaines off the glass. Good. Southwestern's fought back gain a lead, 17-16 inside 10 minutes.
Saints were out of their game plan, Tim. Got to get back into it.
Clyde Thompson with the ball. Trying to work. Drives, turn around, kicked it over to Webster Daniel. Back over to Clyde. Clyde doing a little acting, and the official gets on to Gaines. And feed down low to Pugh. Pugh kicks it back out. Turn around, and we got a foul on the floor.
I'm going to guess a loose ball foul on Southwestern.
Clyde Thompson doing a good job. They've been hanging on Clyde all night long, and he brought some drama to it and got the official's attention, and the official checked off with the Georgia Southwestern players. We got a timeout on the floor.
Another media timeout for us, our last one here of the first half. We'll come back with more action here from Memorial Hall on AM 1210 and STC.
You frozen yet?
Just the surface, you.
A little soft in the middle.
We're cracking up back here, boss.
I'm frozen first. I'm frozen down in front.
Anything but Coca-Cola and we melt.
I love it. Give me that Coca-Cola.
You fool out!
Hey, nice ceiling fan.
That's Coca-Cola!
Ooh, that tickles.
Always Coca-Cola!
I'm just gonna float around and soak this up for a while.
Delicious.
Tim, maybe during that timeout, North Georgia now can make the change and do have more dominance underneath, and then get Pugh, who's got off to a slow start, get him going, and also Clyde Thompson.
And they come back out with Thompson, Millsap, Pugh, Webster Daniel, and Shumbay Hunter as Pugh with the ball. Look at the work, gets it over to Shumbay. All right, 9.5 to go.
Looking for a pick.
Looking down low, over to Clyde. Clyde looking, swings it over to Webster. Webster looks, drives the lane, off the glass, good. And let's set the Georgia Southwestern lineup. You've got Gaines, Dees handling the ball right now. You've got Harris, and Miles takes a shot, rebounded by Pugh. He's coming down, 2-on-1 break. Pugh looks, gives, Shumbay off the glass, no good, tip back in, no good, rebound control, North Georgia.
Thought we had a chance to get the putback then.
And the other player is Tony Bryan, another starter, was the final player trying to call for Southwestern. As Harris sets it up, coming off the picks, Gaines, guarded by Clyde. Looking to work it back to the top of the key. 8:34 to go, 18-17, North Georgia with a single-digit lead. Looking to drive the baselines, Gaines feeds it off. Three-point shot, no good. Rebound controlled by the Hurricanes.
Ball kicked that too far for the Saints to get a rebound.
And Harris is working it down low, stolen, knocked out of bounds by Josh Millsap. 27 remains on the shot clock as Seaman checks in for North Georgia.
Earl Seaman returns to action for North Georgia.
Seaman is a 6'6 junior out of London, England. And checking back in the game for Southwestern is Ernest Scott. He gives Tony Bryan a break. Hey, kick it inbound. Miles looks, pulls up, three-pointer, good. And that gives them a lead at 20-18. 8:06 to go here in the first half. Shumbay's working possession. Kicks it over to Pugh. Pugh's been shut out so far tonight. Webster Daniel working for position, looking, and we got a foul on the floor. It's going to be called against. We're going to call Dees with a foul. Yes, it is. 6 team fouls. Next time they'll be in the bonus. They being North Georgia's. Vince Ray prepares to check in. And they go ahead and get Ray in on this possession. He gives Shumbay a break. Set your North Georgia lineup. Ray, Thompson, Seaman, Daniel, and Pugh. Feed inside, and a misread that time by Pugh and Seaman. As Bryan checks back into the game, he's going to give Dees a break. Dees has 2 fouls.
Yeah, and the ball just seems to be moving off the hands of North Georgia when it goes underneath.
20-18, a little bit of full court pressure. Ray guarding Harris. As Harris works the possession up. And he looks, pulls back up. As the Canes move around to try to set it up. And goes off the hands, but Miles got it back. Back to Harris. Looking to work inside. He does to Scott, Bryan rather. Turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound, Clyde Thompson. North Georgia going to run a little bit. They're going to push it back up court, but quickly back down. Here's the Hurricanes. Pugh looks, drives, turn around underneath, rebound Seaman. He's working back up, and we got a foul on the floor on Earl Seaman.
He's going to be fouled after the miss by Pugh. Remember what Coach Randy Dunn told us the last time we were here at the Piedmont game, is that he wanted every play to go to a particular player. You can see Clyde Thompson, with his vision, look up court. He saw Matt Pugh there, just didn't work, and then you get the put back in the foul.
And Seaman at the line to take a couple. Yes, they're saying it's 2. And his first shot's up, and it bounces out. 18-20. Georgia Southwestern leading this with 7:17 to go in the first half. Seaman's second shot's up, and it bounces no good. Tipped out of bounds off a Hurricane. No, they're saying it went out of bounds before a Hurricane touched it.
Coach Dunn not very happy with those 2 missed free throws.
And Harris brings it down for Southwestern. Guarded by Ray. Good defense by Vince Ray. Feed it in to Brian. Working back over to Harris. Shot clock's at 20. They're bumping around hard. Knocked, tipped away by Pugh, but they tag him with a foul. And third team foul in the quarter, or in the half rather, by North Georgia. And the Kings have 7. And North Georgia will be in the bonus the remainder of the night, or remainder of the half rather. Kicked inbounds to Miles. Dwayne Miles out of Patterson, Georgia. What county's Patterson, Mike?
Don't remember, Tim.
And they work it over to Gaines, swing it back over, shot up by Miles, and his three-pointer's good, 23-18. They've extended the lead to 5. He's had 2 three-pointers on the night. Thompson with the ball. He's got 3 trays of his own. Pugh with the ball off the screen, pulls back up for his 3, and it's no good. Rebound, tipped, and got a foul underneath. I really want to call Webster Daniel pushing off.
Probably so. You can see on that three-point attempt, they didn't go high enough with the arc and get it off the ends of his fingers.
And foul, as I said, goes against Webster Daniel. 4th team foul. Harris directing the offense for the team out of Americus, Georgia.
That's Sumter County, by the way.
And Brian with the ball. He looks inside the three-point arc. He pulls up for his shot. It's good. Georgia Southwestern used to have a football program, done away with it some years ago, didn't they, Mike?
I think you're right, Tim.
And Matt Pugh quickly down. He takes a 3. His shot's good. All net on that one. And we got a new 5 coming in for North Georgia. We're inside 6 to go. 25-21, leads down to 4. That's Georgia Southwestern's lead. Miles with the ball off the screen. Turn around, looking to feed down low. Back to the top of the key to Scott. 5.5. 13 on the shot clock. Turn around, try to get position, and we got a travel called on Scott. Checking into the game for North Georgia is going to be Baggett, Lee Ryder, also Jason Cole, and Augustus Brown back in. And Emmett Stevens. Trying to set this up. Wholesale changes official. Going to gather everybody back in.
For our viewers, Kevin Baggett, 00. Emmett Stevens, 32. Lee Ryder's 24, I believe.
So they called him to the center court so they Southwest can match up. A total of new 5. You know, that really confused the coach for if you're trying to defend that. Baggett with the ball. Baggett's out of Chatsworth. Looking to work it. He gets it over to Cole. Cole trying to pull it up. He's being guarded by Gaines. Shot clock's inside 20 over Lee Ryder. Ryder back over to Baggett. Baggett drives, feed down over through Gus Brown. Georgia Southwestern picks up the turnover. Scott drives, feed, off the glass, partially blocked by Baggett. And the ball goes off Southwestern. It's going to be North Georgia's ball.
Tim Adams returns to action for Georgia Southwestern. This should be a quicker lineup for the Saints.
And Baggett brings it up. Over to Ryder. Ryder out of Lumpkin County here. Stolen away. Got a jam coming. And there it was. Not Errol Seaman. I was looking at the wrong roster. Ernest Scott throws it down for Georgia Southwestern. Leads up to 6 for the Hurricanes, 27-21. We're inside 4.5 to go here in the first half. Emmett Stevens bringing the possession up for North Georgia. Nearly stolen away again by Scott. Stevens looking for some help. Gets it over to Ryder. Ryder kicks it back to Jason Cole. Augustus Brown with the possession, feeds it back up to Stevens. Stevens working. Back down to Cole. He looks at a 3. It's up. No good. Rebound. Gus Brown. Turn around. Off the glass. Good.
Oh, you do not want Jason Cole taking a three-pointer from there, but Gus Brown with the rebound. Forgive me if I was going to say guards had to take care of the basketball.
And we got a 20-second timeout on the floor, Mike.
We'll keep it here, Tim. I want to remind our listeners on AM 1210 WDGR and also our viewers on STC Channel 4 that North Georgia's men will be in action on Saturday evening against the Running Hornets of Southern Tech. And then they'll finish up the season next Thursday against Shorter, which could be a pivotal game also, as I mentioned, just from a momentum sake going into the upcoming tournament. Again, if the Saints win this game, they would play host to the number 5 seed in the GAC tournament. That would be on Thursday, March the 5th. So remember that on your calendar. We'll see a full dog pound here in Dahlonega on March the 5th.
And you know, Mike, if Shorter loses one more game between now and the time they meet North Georgia, and North Georgia wins out, we could end the number 2 seed, end up number 2.
Slim possibility. That's possible, though.
Shorter beat North Georgia here last time by 3 on a controversial last-second shot as Baggett comes down with a Saint rebound. That'd be great if we could end up with 2 teams in the top seed as Baggett pulls up with a double dribble, turns it over. 3.5 to go, 27-23 is the Georgia Southwestern lead. Chevy Hunter checks in. He's going to give Baggett a break. And Miles kicks it in to Adams. Adams working the ball, looks down low. Feed down to Scott, fadeaway jumper's good. 29-23.
You can see why Ernest Scott's one of the leading scorers of this team.
Very smooth player. Gus Brown looks, drives, turn around, and we got a foul. And they're going to say 2 shots for Gus Brown.
We'll continue our thought about Scott. It just seems like he and the ball are in one motion going up with the shot.
3:02 left to go here in the first half. Hopefully at halftime we can run down and find Coach Watson and get her visions on what happened tonight and what's going to happen next week at Shorter. As Brown shots up, and it's good.
Saints in the 1-1 now.
Q to check back into the game. That cuts the score to 29-24. Chance to cut it back to 4.
Let's hope Matt can have a big second half.
Brown sets. Shot. And it's good. Coming out with full court pressure. Pugh, Gus Brown, Shumbay, Emmett Stevens, and Jason Cole is your North Georgia lineup. For Southwestern, you've got Adams, Miles, Harris, Scott, and Bryan. As Harris works the possession. Feeds it inside to the go-to guy. Fadeaway shot by Scott. No good. Rebound underneath, and we got a foul.
I'll go against the Saints. I haven't mentioned, Tim, here in the first half, the point guard for Southwestern has been able to dribble freely between the 2 circles, and a lot of motion with those 4 of the players set up shots.
Ball kicked in, saved by Miles. He's tiptoeing the line. Webster Daniels sitting right here trying to help the official out, which Webster's right there on top of it. I don't know if what he'd done if he'd went out. Maybe clapped and pointed. I don't know. And a shot down by the Hurricanes. It misses. Cole comes out with a rebound. Works it up to Shumbay. We're approaching the 2-minute mark. Feed it down to Gus Brown. Kicks it over to Emmett. Emmett looks, drives, glass, no good. Rebound controlled by Southwestern.
Good idea.
He got a little low on that one. Kicked off on the floor. Blocked by Gus Brown. Gus got up and got the hots on Harris that time as Webster Daniel checks in, gives Emmett Stevens a break.
That's a big play for Gus Brown right there. Take it out of here. Once again, inside play important.
Gus, a very smart player. As Southwestern kicks it in. Bryan with the ball. Feeds it over. They get it back out to their ball handler. That being Adams. Check that. Yeah, Tim Adams. They got a Gus Adams and a Tim Adams. Feed it down low to Miles. Miles looks, drives, pulls up, jumper. No good off the front of the rim. We fight, and we got a foul. Who are they going to call it on?
Should be on Southwestern over the back.
Yes, they're calling Dwayne Miles with a foul, and Matt Pugh's going to be at the line to shoot a bonus.
And Coach Barksdale said, come here, I want to talk to you about that. I don't like that at all.
Pugh had position that time, fought for the rebound, 29-24, chance to cut it to 2. 102 seconds left here in the first half. Pugh prepares, his first shot's up, and it's no good. Rebounded by Southwestern.
Well, the next time the Saints will get 2 shots.
And Adams works the ball. North Georgia backs off as we approach 90 seconds to go. Guarded by Shumbay Hunter. Works, looks, feed inside. The go-to guy. Feed back out to Adams. His shot, no good. Rebound, Gus Brown. Gus brings it up. Looking. He's got Scott on him. Kicks it back out to Shumbay. Feed down low. Webster Daniel looks. Off the glass, good.
There you go. Last time down for the Southwestern team, looks like Tim Adams gave up on the play for the three-pointer. We'll see if we can keep that defense tightened in on that lane.
We're inside a minute. North Georgia's down 2. Lead was 6 one time for Southwestern as they work the possession. Inside to Scott, kicked it back out. Harris pulls up. His shot, no good. Matt Pugh with a rebound.
There it is, Tim. Saints controlling it inside game with that rebound.
About a 5-second differential in the shot clock. Gus Brown with the ball. We're going to work it down. Back over to Shumbay. Chance to tie or go ahead with a 3. Shot clock's at 21. Game clock 5 seconds over that. They're setting it up. Shumbay moves the possession, looks, drives, and knocked out of bounds. And there's going to be 10 on the shot clock as Gaines checks back in.
Coach Dunn was wanting a short shot, maybe 5 to 6 feet.
And Clyde comes back into the game. 15.2 on the game, 10 on the shot. And you got Gus Brown, Clyde Thompson. Clyde's kicking it in. Looking, gets it to Pugh. Pugh over to Gus Brown. 8. Clyde Thompson pulls up. Kicks it back out to Gus Brown. 4 on the shot clock. He pulls up with a shot. And we got a foul. And Gus Brown's going to be at the line to shoot a couple.
He'll shoot 2 because it was a shot. And also it's 10 team fouls for Southwestern.
Shot clock's off. 6.6 on the game clock. Chance to tie here. Gus Brown hit his last 2 down. And Clyde Thompson, I think he pulled a hamstring.
He may have, Tim. Have you noticed, though, the change defensively for the Saints in the last 2 minutes? And that's what has set up
and
this run.
Gus hits the first one, 1-point game. As Coach Dunn gives direction. Brown sets. Shot. No good. Matt Pugh pulls the rebound, tips out of bounds, and it's going to be the Hurricanes' ball. Matt Pugh comes down hard on the floor. And 4.8 seconds. And Matt's going to get a break as Cole checks into the game.
So you don't want Matt picking up a silly foul.
4.8 seconds as they wipe up sweat on the floor. And North Georgia with a tight defense. You've got a strong safety and free safety set back against the long pass, that being Brown and Webster. And they kick the possession in. Adams with the ball. Here comes Harris. Working. 1.2. He takes a long 3. No good. Off the back of the rim.
So I do it for us here at halftime of our men's game. We got an interesting battle, I think, ahead of us for the second half, everyone. Stay tuned. We'll hopefully get a chance to talk with Coach Bucky versus Watson, have the halftime stats, and get ready for the second half of action right here on AM 1210 and STC Channel 4.
Discover one of the nation's best-kept secrets right here in Georgia. Discover a liberal arts institution dedicated to educating men and women and designed to train leaders. Discover North Georgia College. North Georgia provides a balanced educational environment featuring over 50 majors in its undergraduate, graduate, and pre-professional programs. North Georgia strives to develop leadership through participation in activities such as its award-winning Student Government Association and its nationally recognized ROTC program. With numerous scholarship programs and a low student-faculty ratio, North Georgia College offers the very best value in public education. Since 1873, North Georgia has provided excellent academic programs, leadership training, and a solid foundation for students to succeed. Discover North Georgia College and discover the leader within.
The search is over for the best auto deals here in North Georgia, and they're just down the road at Cody's Chevrolet Olds Geo in Dahlonega. They've been making customer satisfaction their only concern for 20 years while offering a huge inventory of new cars, trucks, and vans like the new Chevy Malibu and a wide variety of quality used vehicles. With all the financing and leasing options available, plus a full-service center, I don't know why you'd go anywhere else. See the friendly folks at Cody's Chevrolet Olds Geo in Dahlonega on Highway 60 South. Call 864-6145. In Gainesville, call 770-534-6145. Come to the Gold Hills for true golden deals.
And welcome back, everyone, to college basketball on AM 1210 and STC. Mike Wofford with you here from Memorial Hall, the campus of North Georgia College and State University, joined by head coach Buffy Burson-Watson. The victorious Lady Saints tonight defeating Georgia Southwestern 68-59. Coach, first, congratulations on a great win.
Thanks a lot. Great win.
We knew from the very beginning it was going to be a tough battle.
Right.
Had that big 14-point lead in the second half. It evaporated. What were you thinking right then?
When we had the 14-point lead, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Hey, I hoping we can stretch it out a little further and play good defense and stretch it out.
As you can tell, it's very difficult for us to hear each other here as these cadets here at halftime are doing something for the Student Government Association. Coach, can you tell us, if you can hear me here, can you tell us right now how the GAC stands with one game left?
Sure. If we beat Shorter College next Thursday, then we'll finish first outright, and we'll host. We'll get a bye first round, and we'll host the semifinals and finals at North Georgia.
Okay, so there'll be no coin flip in between you and Southwestern.
No, not at all.
Well, that would be great. So that
Okay.
means then you would play the semifinal game here against the winner, I guess, of the 4 and 5 seeds
Right.
on March 6th.
Right, exactly. On March, yeah.
Okay, that'd be a Friday night, March the 6th, here at Memorial Hall. And I guess we'll find out later about the game times and everything, but
7:30.
okay.
It's already set.
Great. Well, we'll know about that also, 7:30. A tremendous effort in the second half by your team, especially, I think, in the final 2 minutes of play.
Exactly. Hey, they made a run at us, and our I thought Kim, our point guard, stepped up for us, and hey, our seniors, everybody just had our backs against the wall, and I thought everybody really performed well on the stretch.
Especially a huge second half by Amber Kent.
Definitely. Hey, yeah, if Amber scores and rebounds like Amber can, then we're going to be successful, and we're going to have a great shot at winning this GAC championship. She played a great game. She really did.
Final thing I want to ask you about, I want you to talk about just for a moment, Coach, is about your 3 seniors who played their final regular season game here today.
Hey, they were great kids. Nicole White has been with me all 4 years that I've been here, and Mandy and Amanda Willis have been with me 3, and they've really brought this program to what it is. I mean, they're great leaders, as you can see. They're great leaders off the court, too. And I don't know what I'm going to do when they leave. I mean, they're just great kids. I love them to death.
And also, Nicole White showed some intestinal fortitude, as they say, playing with that injured knee.
She did. She had to sit out of her last 2 ball games. I mean, I thought that really hurt us, emotionally, too, because she's such our big spiritual leader for our team. Which I think she was just saving all her energy and everything for Georgia Southwestern.
Well, once again, excuse me, once I was going to say, it was a team effort, I think, from Nicole in the front line, especially with Nicole, Maury, and with Amber.
Definitely. All 3 of them played a great game, and the other people coming off the bench did a good job, too. I thought it was a great team effort.
Yeah, and mentioned about that, Kim Felton played way out of her mind tonight with the double-double assists and points.
Definitely. She had 11 assists and only 2 turnovers, and you can't ask any more out of a point guard than that. I thought she played a great game.
Listen, again, congratulations to you and your team. Hopefully, this is not going to be our last broadcast. We can go on from here to the tournament. Coach Burson Watson, the Lady Saints head coach, as they defeat Georgia Southwestern. The men have a battle on their hands as they need a victory over Southwestern. Tim will return. We'll bring you the stats in the second half of action right here on AM 1210 at STC Channel 4.
Where are you? Is it like it used to be when you could trust a few people with anything? Is it possible for a financial institution to generate that level of trust? We are here to suggest that it is, to offer you options you didn't know you had, ideas about money and investing that can help free you from worry. You may only rely on a few people. Wouldn't it be good if the person you trusted with your money was one of them? Wachovia, we are here. Let's get started.
As we mentioned, the Saints have a battle on their hands, Tim, in the second half. The stats for North Georgia here in the first half. Clyde Thompson had those three three-pointers. He leads the way with 9 points. Augustus Brown had 7 points, and the rest of the Saints just chipping in. But Dwayne Miles is the leading scorer for Southwestern with 9 points. Ernest Scott had 8.
As North Georgia will have the ball to start off the second half, down 1 point, 29-28, and we're underway here. And the final half of action here at Memorial Hall. And during the regular season for STC viewers and AM 1210, S. Thompson takes a three, rebound tipped around, controlled by the Canes. They're wanting to run. Harris goes up for the layup, good. And North Georgia brings the possession back down. As Thompson with the ball. Harris all over him. Cole into the game, starts it off the half for North Georgia, kicks it over to Webster Daniel. Augustus Brown down to Cole, looking, feed, off the glass, Webster Daniel, good. That's 6 for Webster. And it has got very quiet here as the ROTC Corps has reported back to their quarters. We still have the Echo and Delta Company and part of Foxtrot Company still here with us. As we begin the second half, feed down low to Scott. He looks, trying to work it. Watch the spin, kicked it back out to Harris for 3. Bounced off the top of the backboard, and it's going to be North Georgia's ball.
I'll tell you what, Tim, those cadets, they were loud during the interview with Coach Burson Watson. We could hardly hear each other.
Yeah, they had a pizza search contest going on the floor where they blindfolded some guys and said go sniff out the pizza.
Oh, I didn't need a blindfold, did I? I could have done that.
And North Georgia with the ball. Brown looks, pulls up, feeds it over to Clyde. Clyde comes off the screen, goes up, and he's fouled. Ain't going to be at the line to shoot a couple. That's going to be Ernest Scott with his second foul, I believe. Check that, first team foul. And then his first personal.
Saints were 6 for 11 from the free throw line in the first half, while Southwestern didn't go to the charity stripe.
And Thompson's up, and his shot's good. And that ties the thing up. 31 all. Right back where we started from. Second shot's up, and North Georgia's back in the lead.
Seesaw goes back the Saints' way. Thompson with 11 points.
And as the troops, the cadets are moving over here behind us. So we're going to have some noise for the rest of the game right here behind us. As Scott's turnaround shot is good.
Ernest Scott in double figures for Southwestern.
Quickly down the court, Matt Pugh kicks it back out. He's overthrown just a little bit. North Georgia sets this thing back up. Over to Pugh. Pugh looks back over to Brown. Brown looks at a 3. Skips. Drives. Glass. Partially blocked. Pugh with a rebound. Good.
There you go, Matt. Get the rebound and the stick back. He needs a huge second half.
We're in a 1-point seesaw at this point. As Harris brings possession up. North Georgia using significant numbers in the first half. Georgia Southwestern used 7 players. As Dees looks, drives, feeds to Scott. Fadeaway jumper. No good. Off front of the rim. Cole with the rebound. Kicks it back to Thompson. Thompson moves, set it up. He looks. He drives. Off the glass. No good. Rebound. Control off of a North Georgia player. And it's going to be the Hurricanes with 17.5 to go in the game. North Georgia with a 1-point lead, 34-33. And Harris brings possession up for the Canes, rather. North Georgia backing off a man defense. Harris moves to his left wing, top of the key, goes to D, speed inside to Scott, and we got a foul called underneath on Webster Daniel. And he called with a push underneath. First team foul. As we said, the Hurricanes did not go to the charity stripe in the first half.
And Southwestern continually wanting to go inside against the Saints, going to Scott in the early going of the second half.
And Dees kicks it into Scott. And back to the top of the key. Harris telling him to move this thing around. You know, Dwayne Miles is one of their leading scorers. And he was basically kept pretty quiet. Well, he had 9 points.
He was the leading scorer, wasn't
he? Quiet for him as he comes right out and hits a 3, as I mentioned that. I'll keep my mouth quiet next time. As Clyde brings possession up. Over to Matt Pugh. Gus looks, feet inside. He caught Webster Daniel going the wrong way as he tried to lead him. Jason Cole takes a rest with Emmett Stevens checking in.
Remember, Emmett Stevens only played half a season for North Georgia.
Coach Randy Dunn giving Georgia Southwestern probably the most different look I've seen of North Georgia basketball this year. A lot of different matchings out on the floor as Miles shoots, and we got a foul. Is Miles going to be at the line? Yes, he's going to shoot 2.
Matt Pugh called for the foul, his second of the ball game. You and I were concerned before this game, especially after seeing the score of the Shorter game with Southwestern.
Yeah, Shorter was like a 30-point victory for the Hurricanes, as Miles' first shot is good and extends their lead to 3.
That's another reason, Tim, why I say the GAC is wide open going into the final week of the season.
And second shot's also good. Yeah, Shorter's the number 2 team in the standings. Bruton Parker at the top with a 10-2 record. And the kick, Matt Pugh with the ball. Stevens looks, he got caught with a walk. Bruton Parker overall, they're 18-8. 10-2 coming into this week's action. Shorter 10-3, Southwestern at 9-4, North Georgia 8-5, and Southern Wesleyan is another one who could slip into that top 4 as they have an 8-6 record.
That could be the first round opponent for North Georgia.
And feed down to Scott, fadeaway jumper, and it rolls in good.
I am impressed to death with Ernest Scott.
North Georgia was up 1, and now they're down 5. Check that 6, rather. 7-0 run by Georgia Southwestern. Emmett Stevens working on D's. North Georgia looking a little slack on the feet right now. Goes over to Gus. He looks, drives, turn around, pulls it back, missed a shot, then rebound controlled by the Hurricanes. They're wanting to run and push it. And kicked over to Brian, kicked it back out to Scott. Fadeaway jumper, good.
Well, the Saints may have to call timeout before they get the immediate timeout.
30 seconds away from the media timeout period to be the first whistle inside 15 minutes. Gus Brown looking, try to feed down low. Webster Daniel off the glass, no good. Rebound Hurricanes. 42-34, they're looking. They push it down, feed inside to Scott, turn around fader, and it bounces no good. Webster Daniel clearing it out, rebound control, 3-pointer by Miles, good.
Oh, we're in trouble now, Tim.
We were up 1, we're down 11 now as Errol Seaman prepares to check in. We're inside 15, we're in trouble right now. North Georgia come back strong, took a lead. As I said, we've been held silent since we were up 34-33. Matt Pugh looks, works, fades off the glass, good. We needed that one.
Matt may have to take it one-on-one himself.
Harris brings the possession up. Clyde Thompson is going to meet him as soon as he hits high court.
And Coach Barksdale of Georgia Southwestern wants a timeout. We'll take timeout also and regroup as we continue with more action on AM 1210 at STC.
Isn't it funny how we love to eat out, but when we do go out to eat, we want food that tastes like it was made at home? I tell you what, Danny Phillips figured that out a long time ago. That's why the folks at Danny's restaurant treat you so special when you go there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But the food always tastes like the made-from-scratch home cooking you grew up with. Danny's offers a full cafeteria-style breakfast menu, including favorites like country ham, biscuits and gravy, omelets, and hot pancakes. For lunch, it's your choice of 4 meats and at least 6 vegetables, plus a selection of desserts you just won't believe. You can always count on roast beef being one of your choices on Thursdays and Sundays. Order from the menu for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evening suppers. Try a fresh cut-to-order steak and the big 21-item salad bar, or choose from a variety of other menu items. For great home cooking when you eat away from home, it's got to be Danny's Restaurant, Highway 60 South in Dahlonega.
North Georgia College and State University is a unique school for unique people. In the Corps of Cadets, young men and women perfect the skills of leadership and organization while obtaining a top-notch education, all essential to a successful career in any field and with no obligation to the military. With all the scholarship opportunities available, there's no reason not to aim for the best. North Georgia College and State University, Army ROTC, the smartest college course you can take.
The teams went bounded right in front of Tim and I's location. You can hear our friends behind us want to get on TV, Tim.
And everybody likes to be on TV, including us, right? As Dees out of Cleveland, Georgia, is going to kick the possession in for the Hurricanes. And they made it on TV. And 22 moves with the ball. That's Harris working on Clyde Thompson. North Georgia's down 9. He's looking, feeds inside to Dees, looks, feeds it off. Brown partially blocked by Matt Pugh. Seaman with a rebound. Here comes Emmett Stevens. 1-on-2 break, and he's fouled, and he's going to be at the line to shoot a couple. Called against Pat Dees.
Called for the foul.
And it's going to be Stevens. It's going to be his first trip to the line tonight.
Emmett needs both of them.
We're at 14 to go. We'll probably have a media timeout after these free throws. First shot's up, and it's good. If he hits the second one. And that cuts it back down to 8. Second shot's up, and it misses. Rebound, Dees. And Harris brings the possession up for the Hurricanes. Working the possession. A lot of movement down low for the Hurricanes. We're inside 14 minutes. Harris moves around to the other side. Nothing over there. Shot clock inside 20. Over to Miles. Looks. Drives. Pulled up. Shot bounces around. Rebound. Seaman. Kicks it over to Gus Brown. Thompson brings it up. Looking to feed down low. Matt Pugh with the ball. Top of the key. Gus Brown looks. Looks to drive. And we got a push foul underneath. Called against the Hurricanes.
It looks like when North Georgia passes by the mid-court stripe, they want to go one-on-one with it, as there's that timeout that Tim mentioned about. So we'll take a timeout. Back with more action here on AM 1210 and STC.
Amicalola EMC's main job is to deliver electric power to local homes and businesses at a fair price. And of course to be there 24 hours a day should your service be interrupted. That's what people expect of them, lighting neighborhoods, helping industries thrive, and enhancing Lumpkin County's quality of life. That's their mission at Amicalola EMC, located at 1234 Dawsonville Highway in Dahlonega.
Tim, I want to take the opportunity to congratulate all the high school basketball teams that have advanced to the region tournaments taking place around North Georgia this weekend. And, of course, the state tournament begins next week as teams from across North Georgia will be competing for that coveted state championship. Our congratulations to all the local teams.
I've got my cell phone right here waiting a call from my alma mater to see if they made it to the state. I told 2 or 3 people. Bo Wilson, who is one of the personalities of WDGR, said he would call me. And we got a foul. I checked out a walk underneath called on Clyde Thompson as North Georgia is down right now 8 points, 45-37, 13 and a half to go in the game as they come out and provide a little backcourt pressure. Emmett Stevens guarding Harris. And Harris works, looks, work down low, nothing there. Top of the key comes Scott. He'll come out and get it. He'll take it down low. Kick it down to Gaines. He pulls it back out, nearly stolen away by Pugh. Miles with the ball, looking to feed inside. Here's Bryan, and stolen away by Clyde Thompson, and Gaines takes a three, which is good.
Well, Clyde Tripp gave the ball back to Southwestern. Gaines gets the basket.
And that makes your score 48-37. It's a 13-point Georgia Southwestern lead. And North Georgia working it down. They're needing points. Gus Brown drives off the glass, partially blocked, and they're going to call a foul on Ernest Scott.
His third foul of the game. Tim, remember this now, the opener of our doubleheader, the Lady Saints had a 14-point lead on Southwestern in the second half, and then it became a close ball game.
Very close.
Yes.
Too close. As Gus Brown's at the line, this is where you want to gain those points back with the clock not running. Gus's shot's up, and it bounces around good. As Coach Randy Dunn gives Emmett Stevens some direction over on the sideline, Gus prepares for the second shot. It's up, and it's good. And the lead's back down to 9. 9 points is nothing in college basketball. And Gaines with the ball for the Canes. Looking, working it. Over to Scott. He's directing the offense right now. Feed inside to Miles. Turn around. It bounces in and out. Pulled, rebound, and control North Georgia.
Oh, we got a break.
Got a break that time, as Mike said. Matt Pugh quickly brings it up. Loses the ball over to Brown. Brown back over to Emmett Stevens. Works it back over to Gus Brown. He looks, pulls up, jumpers up, no good. Pulled by Bryan, Tony Bryan, out of Charleston, South Carolina.
Nobody underneath for the Saints to get an offensive rebound.
And a three-point shot missed. Rebound control by North Georgia, and a foul on the back call by Bryan.
You know, at halftime, you and I were looking at the stats, and the stat sheet said that the two teams were even in rebounds. It appears, though, by just looking at the game, that Southwestern is controlling the boards.
Yeah, if you look at the offensive rebounds in the first half, Southwestern out-rebounded North Georgia 9-4, and North Georgia had the defensive advantage 15-10. So, as a total, they were even. Matt Pugh with the ball. We're inside 12 to go. Leads at 9 for Southwestern. Gus Brown works it over. Emmett Stevens trying to fit it inside. There's Earl Seaman, takes one feed. Good look down. Gus Brown, fade away, good.
There you go. Prior to his shot, they were looking for a cutter inside.
North Georgia chipping away at this lead that was built by Southwestern. Gaines with the ball for the Hurricanes. Feeds it down to Scott. On Gus Brown, turnaround jumper, fade in, good. And that makes your score 50-41. Leads back up to 9 for the Hurricanes.
Need him to get his fourth foul.
Thompson's working over to Pugh. Pugh takes a three. It's going to be short. Right into the hands of the Hurricanes. Here comes Scott. Feeds it off. Loses it over to Gus Brown. And we got a foul called on number 44, Ernest Scott.
Thank you very much.
And did you say that was his fourth, Mike?
If I heard Wayne Cornell right, that should be his fourth.
6 team fouls on Southwestern. We got a sub coming in. And that's going to be Adams. He's out of Plantersville, Michigan. He's going to give Harris a break.
Vince Ray comes back into the game for North Georgia.
And Thompson brings it up. Maybe they didn't call that on Scott. They called number 22, so that was Harris.
That was his second.
Gus pulls. Good feed. Look down low. Errol works for the ball. Over to Vince Ray. Kick back over to Thompson. Thompson drives, pulls in. Feeds it over to Vince. He takes a three. Bounces, no good. Tip in, Gus Brown. Good follow-up by Brown. Good timing, worked in there, got the rebound and the point. 50-43. Leads down to 7. North Georgia chipping away at it. Scott with the ball. Working on Gus Brown. Fade away. There it is, and his shot's good. He's smooth.
Yes, he is. He's just so smooth. But you can tell the cadets behind us, they know they need to help out the Saints. Get a little bit more noisy in the gym.
Vince Ray kicks it over to Pugh. Down to Seaman, and Seaman's fouled as he was going to go up for the easy shot. Seaman's going to be at the line to shoot a couple. North Georgia will be in the bonus from this point out. 52-43. Inside 10 to go.
Earl's about a 55% free throw shooter.
As Miles checks it, he's going to check back into the game. Seaman's first shot's good. He's going to give Dees a break. And Seaman prepares for his second. It's up and it's good.
Good. Talk about how his percentage being so low, then he hits two.
Leads back down to 7. Vince Ray working on Adams. Adams looks to penetrate. Kicks it back out to Miles. Back to Adams, trying to work inside. Kicks it out to Gaines for 3. Bats around, no good. Fall for the rebound. There's Gus Brown. Here comes Brown. He's looking to push it. Gets it over to Thompson. Over to Pugh. Over to Clyde. Clyde takes a 3. He's going to be shooting 3 foul shots as he's fouled after the shot.
And for our fans who wonder why do we be shooting 3 shots, well, because if you're fouled behind the three-point arc and you don't hit their basket, you get 3 attempts.
And that 3 nearly went in. It bounced in and squirted back out of the rim. It tightened up on him. As Clyde's there to shoot the first one, it's up and it's good.
Clyde, a native of Charlottesville, Virginia.
And he prepares for his second. And they're checking it out under here. Officials going to check it out. Clyde was making sure he had 3 shots. He's got 2 left. He prepares for his second. It's up and it's good. And substitution coming back in is going to be Harris. Gives Adams a break. And they're going to clean up some moisture on the floor from where Thompson went down.
Now, watch the Saints defensively after Clyde, if he can make this free throw.
If he makes this one, it'll be an opportunity to cut this thing down to 4. Definitely in striking distance. Inside 10 to go. It's actually 9-19. Thompson sets. And delivers and bounces in and out. 52-47. North Georgia's cut it to 5 after falling down to a double-digit deficit, and we got a timeout on the floor.
Georgia Southwestern wants another timeout. We'll take timeout also. In return with more action here from Memorial Hall in Dahlonega on AM 1210 and STC.
This is a Checkers bust.
Checkers is fighting for better deals and bigger sandwiches.
The enemy? Fast food restaurants that charge you almost twice as much for everything.
This week's bust, the chicken sandwich.
Have you seen what they're charging for chicken?
Twice as much as Checkers.
Yes, twice as much. I've got just 2 words and a price. Big chicken breast sandwich, 99 cents.
99 cents for a plump, juicy chicken breast sandwich.
Yes, Checkers' 99-cent chicken deal. The next time somebody tries to charge you twice as much for chicken, hit your turn signal and get a cluck for under a buck.
A big chicken breast sandwich for just 99 cents.
Get to Checkers. Why pay more?
Come on by your hometown proud Dahlonega Checkers. One taste and you're ours.
Georgia Southwestern will trigger it out right in front of Tim and I as North Georgia needs to get back out in the court as the second horn blows. I expected the Saints to increase the momentum of defense.
And back out North Georgia comes with Pugh, Ray, Brown, Seaman, and Thompson. That's the 5 they went into the break with. And Scott, he finally misses one. And Bryan with the rebound. It rolls around. No good. Rebound, North Georgia. Here comes Thompson. He's working to Gus Brown. He's going to try to feed between 3. Off the glass, no good. Rebound, control Ray. Back over to Clyde Thompson. He gets him in the air, over to Ray. Ray pulls it back up. He's working it. He's got Gaines on him. 47-52 is the North Georgia deficit. Over to Gus Brown. He's looking. He pulls at the charity stripe, kicks it over to Ray, and we got a three-second violation.
They expected Augustus to hit that shot. Instead, he looked for the pass. That's 7 seconds for golf.
And North Georgia comes out with full court pressure. They back it off just a little. As Harris works the ball on Ray, pulls up, kicks it over to Brian. Gaines looking. He pulls in, kicks it back out to Harris. Pulls inside about a 12-footer. It misses. No good, and we got a foul underneath. I believe they're going to call Seaman with a push-off.
Oh, that was a necessary call, wasn't it? Away from the ball. We'd already gotten the rebound.
And they're going to be taking it underneath their goal. It's 52-47 still, 8:15 to go. Looking to feed inside to Scott. How many points Scott got? Have you been keeping a tally on that, Mike? Or?
No, I lost count, to be honest with you.
he got hot there early in the half. Feed into Scott, fade away. Seaman got his hand on that and looked like, and Scott converts. It's 54-47.
Well, he only had 8 at halftime.
He's got more than that this half, I bet.
He's got close to 20.
And Matt Pugh works it around, kicks it down to Ray. Lead is back up to 7 for the Hurricanes.
We're still in it, though.
Kicks it over to Clyde Thompson, back down to Pugh. Looking to work. North Georgia's looking to move. Pugh looking. There's Clyde. And Clyde looks to drive. He's going to pull up with a fadeaway of his own. No good. Rebound control Hurricanes.
We need some movement away from the ball to get a pass.
And Harris brings it up. And we got a foul called on Harris. I believe that's 3 on him.
You're right, Tim. It is 3 on Harris. So we have Harris with 3, Scott with 3.
North Georgia's going to need a victory here tonight. As we said, we'll secure them at least a first-round home match.
If they finish 4th, they would play host to the number 5 team, which right now is Southern Wesleyan out of Center, South Carolina.
And Vince Ray at the line to shoot a couple. First one's up. And it's good.
He'll get one more. Saints looking to cut into that lead. Ray's second shot is up. It's also good. Southwestern with the ball. Across the midcourt line. Down to the forecourt. Saints tough defense. Look inside again.
And the Hurricanes control. Miles takes a 3. It misses. There's Seaman fighting for the ball, and it's tied up, held ball.
They were looking inside, nothing there. That's when they kicked it back outside for that 3-point.
And it's going to be the Hurricanes' ball. And we got the officials are calling for a new 35, I think is what it was.
You're right.
Back into Miles. He's down into Scott. Turn around, fade away. Up, and it's good. And Thompson's going to bring it up. It's back up to 7. Over to Vince Ray. Works down to Pugh. Pugh trying to work inside. Wide open Vince Ray. And he caught the front of the rim on that one. Looking to run. Here comes the Hurricanes. Miles pulls up for 3. No good. Seaman flying in. Pulls the rebound. Here's Matt Pugh on the break. Here it comes. Slam.
That's why I say, Tim, you get the rebound, you get the big outlet pass, slam it, Matt Pugh, nails it down. 20-second timeout, they say, for North Georgia. And that may be the thing marked down, Tim, the time this happened is the Saints, this could be the momentum builder.
And that cuts the difference to 5. It's 56-51. North Georgia off the turnover. And that may spark North Georgia. Seaman flew in to pull a big rebound last time down.
Yeah, and you don't see Earl do that that often, but he was a man with a mission that time.
During the free throw shot, I got my call from my alma mater in Dawson County, failed to make state. They lost to Commerce by 1 point.
Oh, that's an upset, too, because Commerce playing at home was not expected to win it.
They were a number 4 seed coming out of the sub-region, and they upset Union County. Now they upset Dawson County. As Georgia Southwestern, we're back to action here at North Georgia Memorial Hall. Scott with the ball, 56-51. Work it over to Harris. He's looking to feed it inside. Gaines at the top of the key, being guarded by Thompson. They're looking to feed it in. Pugh doing a good job on defense with Scott. Give and go. Pull up shot by Harris. No good. Rebound, Clyde Thompson. And I believe Clyde's going to be called with a foul.
Tim, you notice, though, on the first look in, Southwestern looking inside, they can't see it. They want to go outside with 3. Look again inside, it wasn't there, so then you have to look for something else.
And Earl Seaman's going to be called with a foul. As is a quick inland pass coming to Scott. And that's going to be the 4th team foul. North Georgia's 1 foul away from being in the double bonus. Scott at the line. 56-51 remains the score. He's going to get 2 shots. First one's up, and it's no good. Echo Company and Foxtrot making some noise here behind us.
So, hey, we still got a chance, Saint fans.
He prepares for the second. It's up, and it's no good. Rebound, Clyde Thompson. He fights for the ball. Feeds down to Pugh. Pugh's got a 2-on-1 break. Wisely pulls up, kicks it over to Ray. Ray looks at a 3. No good. Rebound control, Hurricanes.
Lotsy take a little bit better shot. More time off the clock.
And Harris is working it. Feeds it back down low. Give and go. Kicks it over to Gaines. He pulls in. He takes about a 12-footer. No good. Seaman with the rebound. Over to Thompson. Turnover. Lost. And the Hurricanes have the ball. And nearly stolen away by Gus Brown. Here comes Miles. He floats a shot in. No good. Rebound. Pugh underneath with 2 people. Thompson comes down. 1-on-2. He pulls it up. He's looking. Head fake. Spin, roll, and a foul. And is Thompson going to be at the line?
Yeah, he'll have to miss 10 fouls.
I was wondering if he's going to be shooting 2, but automatically it'll be the double bonus. He'll be there to shoot 2.
Canes have gone cold, and then that foul gives North Georgia the opportunity to go to the line to shoot 2.
We've been stuck at 56-51 for a while now. As Thompson looks to break the scoring drought by both teams, we're at 5-14. 56-51, and the shot's good. Cuts the difference.
Remember, about 7 minutes ago, the Saints trailed by 13.
And they've cut it back to 4. Chance to go to 3. 10-point advantage if he makes this one during the last run by North Georgia. And it's good. 56-53. North Georgia maintained composure and got back into this contest.
Exactly.
North Georgia coming out with full court pressure. They back it off. Vince Ray on Harris. And they're going to grab a 20.
So we'll keep it here again. Randolph Barksdale is not very happy with the situation is going. You may have thought I was crazy 8 minutes ago when I said that the Saints still had a chance in this game, but they did. You could see what change they had to make. They made the difference inside, getting some rebounds. Of course, Southwestern went cold. We've hit our free throws in the second half. That's one thing we mentioned at halftime. They had to do, hit the free throws, and they've done it so far in the second half. Being in the double bonus, that may be the hugest stat of the game.
And if you're Georgia Southwestern, you have to be upset because they had an opportunity down here and they missed some free throws down here. And, you know, that's a time when you want to convert on some points.
And right now, the only player doing anything offensively for Southwestern is Ernest Scott.
And as the teams get ready to come out of the 20-second break, we got 5:06 to go in the contest. North Georgia's going to have to keep pushing, just biting away at that lead as they've done. I mean, as we said, they were down 13, just kept taking it off, used the clock effectively, and just bit away at it.
And remember, we don't want this to be our last broadcast. We hope we can continue bringing you Saints basketball here on AM 1210 and STC with a tournament beginning in a couple of weeks with March Madness.
Regardless, the North Georgia Lady Saints are going to have some home contests. You know, they've got at least a number 2 seed tied up, as both they and Georgia Southwestern have one loss. On the men's side, it could end up in about 3 or 4 different ways. Georgia Southwestern working the clock as we're inside 5 minutes. As Miles looks to check that Bryan, he pulls up, rebound North Georgia. Vince Ray clearing it out. Thompson coming up, kicks it over to Brown. North Georgia working. Thompson looks, tries to penetrate, turn around, kicks it back. He better get out of the lane. Over to Vince Ray. Feed back inside to Seaman, and turnover North Georgia. 56-53. We're inside 4.5 minutes, and we got a foul called on Seaman.
Earl was a little out of control. Vince had a good idea to send it inside to him, but didn't work out. And then you get the foul in the backcourt.
And it's going to be Hurricanes ball. That's 16 fouls on North Georgia. Didn't want to get them in the bonus. Good pressure by North Georgia. Both teams will be in the bonus from here on out. North Georgia in the double. Harris working down, leads at 3 for the Hurricanes. Bryan with the ball, gets it back over there, looking inside to their go-to guy, that being Scott. He's double teamed, trying to break through, feed it down low. Bryan, turn around, he works, and he's fouled, and his shot doesn't fall.
You can see when Ernest Scott was double teamed, he was looking on the baseline on the opposite end of the court, saw the man floating in, and he got the pass, and the shot was no good, but we got the foul.
North Georgia appears to have taken Georgia Southwestern out of their game plan. They look out of sync. As Bryan's at the line, you can hear the noise behind us. Shots up, and it's no good. As Webster Daniel checks in for Earl Seaman. Bryan at the line to shoot a second. We'll see what the crowd can do to disrupt him.
That's 3 straight misses by Southwestern.
And he prepares for the shot. It's up, and it's no good. Rebound controlled by Miles. Fadeaway jumper. It rings out, no good. Rebound to Gus Brown. Here comes Clyde Thompson. He's working, looking to drive down low. He kicked it out, and we got a foul. And Clyde's going to be at the line to shoot a couple.
I'll tell you what, Tim, you mentioned in the first game that your player of the game was Kim Felton. My player of the game, if the Saints win this game, is Gus Brown.
Yes, Gus is all over the place, making things happen. He's my catalyst for excitement, is Gus Brown. That last game with Piedmont, he started out on fire, just setting the pace for that game. As Clyde's at the line. Shots up, and it's good. Last 2 games we broadcast, Gus Brown has been just playing tremendously. He's steady, very steady player. As Clyde's second shot's good, and we cut it to a single digit. 56-55. We're inside 4 minutes. Adams working it. Ray's on him. Ray's played some good ball. Turnover. Here comes Bryan, and Matt Pugh blocks it, and rebound Gus Brown. North Georgia with a chance to reclaim the lead. Augustus Brown, top of the key, looking. Feet down low. Webster Daniel looks off the glass. Good. North Georgia's got the lead back. 57-56. Listen to the crowd. They're into the game. North Georgia with the lead and the momentum. And we got timeout on the floor.
And we're going to take a timeout. The Saints lead. Back with more action on AM 1210 at STC.
You know, a lot of times when you stop at a convenience store, you're left wondering, what was so convenient about that? But then there's Country Cupboard. With 62 locations here in North Georgia, there's always one where you need it, and friendly folks behind the counter because you deserve it. Put a little country in your cupboard today. Stop by with your Saints basketball ticket stub for a free small fountain drink or coffee. Good through February 20th at any area Country Cupboard location. Country Cupboard, proud sponsor of North Georgia College and State University Saints basketball on WDGR and STC Cable Channel 4.
And we've got as we come out of the timeout, we got a technical on the bench. And North Georgia's going to be shooting the T foul.
Let's see if we can eavesdrop here, Tim, about what happened.
The coach was giving the official an earful coming out of the timeout. And Clyde Thompson is going to be shooting the T foul for North Georgia. Chance to build on the lead. And Thompson hits it. Leads up to 2.
Well, the technical foul was caught on Coach Randolph Barksdale.
And he was looking over at his player saying, "It's my fault, team." As Thompson hits the other one. Leads up 59-56. And it'll be North Georgia's ball. Opportunity to build on a 3-point lead as we're at 3 minutes to go here in this GAC conference game. Gus looking, working inside, nothing, kicked it back out to Pugh. Back over to Gus. Inside 3. Vince Ray with D's on him, looks, give and go. Webster Daniel underneath, and his shot's blocked. Rebound control by, that's where did it go out on? It went out on Georgia Southwestern.
Oh, I thought it was blue jerseys. I thought it had to be off the Canes.
And Coach Randy Dunn gets a 20-second timeout.
Tim, let's go back to the second half. Early on in this half, we mentioned about the Saints looked so out of sync about 15 minutes ago in the second half when they called the media timeout. And then the Saints made the change, going with Thompson with Pugh. Gus Brown doing a phenomenal job here in the second half. Go back to that slam like I told you. Remember when Seaman got the rebound, had the outlet to Pugh? That's one thing that we've been building on ever since.
And as I couldn't hear much that you said, we had Foxtrot Company right here behind us trying to disrupt the, I was about to say Bruton Parker, but the Georgia Southwestern huddle.
Well, just say you're right, Mike.
You're right, Mike. Gus Brown with the ball, kicks it over to Vince Ray. And Vince Ray with a fadeaway. It's good. 61-56. North Georgia was down by 13 at one point tonight. They're up 5. Has a fadeaway by Scott, no good. Rebound, Clyde Thompson. As we want to hear some noise back here. That's the key to playing at home. As North Georgia turns it over. Hurricanes looking to run. This game's far from over as we hit 2:11. Feed inside, tipped away at Gus Brown. Got a 2-on-2. Here comes Matt Pugh. They kick it over to Matt. Matt looking, working. They're going to set this thing up. Inside 2 minutes, and Clyde is going to be tagged with a foul. Someone slept under Clyde as he wasn't looking, and it's going to be Southwestern at the line. Unfortunate as that foul may be, it's going to be Georgia Southwestern at the line. 61-56. We're inside 2 minutes to go. North Georgia trying to hang on after they've orchestrated a tremendous comeback, being down 13, 1 at the half. Georgia Southwestern wanted to put this thing away early, but North Georgia said no. And Southwestern finally hits a free throw. They've had their problems in the second half there.
The Saints were at least on a 10-0 run. It was 56-51 a couple of minutes ago.
And at the lines, Harris to try for a second. It's up and no good. Rebound controlled by Scott. Kicks it back out, and Matt Pugh's going to be tagged with a foul. And momentum is starting to swing toward the Hurricane. And we're still inside 2 minutes. Clock didn't move much, if any.
3 fouls on Pugh.
One more foul. And the Hurricanes will be in the double bonus. Scott's up. His shot is good. Cuts it to a 3-point North Georgia lead. And Scott prepares for the second. It's up and no good. Rebound controlled by the Hurricanes. And kicked it over to Harris. Harris looks, penetrates, kicks it over. Work it over to Harris. He takes a 3. No good. Rebound, Clyde Thompson. North Georgia's up 2, 103 to go. Clyde Thompson's working it up. We fought all night long. North Georgia down 13. Come back. We've got an excellent ball game right here. Gus Brown, and we got a foul down low called against the Hurricanes.
It was out of sight for our viewers on STC. They're battling underneath for position, and a foul is called.
And Webster Daniel's going to take a couple. Opportunity to really start pushing this thing away. If we can convert on the free throws, we're going to get into a situation where they will have to put us at the free throw line right now. And there's the first one. That makes it 62-58. It's a 2-possession game now. As Gaines comes in, gives Adams a break. 4-point lead for North Georgia. Second shot up by Daniel is good. With 91 seconds, it's back up to a 5-point lead. Here comes Harris looking to push, going to the basket, and Matt Pugh blocks it in, and he's tagged with a foul.
That's 4.
84 seconds. They're going to be back at the line. As Adams is going to check back in.
Again, Southwestern going to the free throw line, and clock is stopped. They try to get the momentum back, but again, still a two-possession game.
Coach Barksdale's moving in with his strategic changes. He'll put the shooter in on one possession. He'll put a defensive player in on the next. As Harris's shot's up, and it's good. He's going to be exchanging Gaines and Harris, or check that, Gaines and Adams. Cuts the difference back down to 3. One possession game. Shots up, and it's good.
That was clutch on the road.
3-point. Here's Pugh breaking away. He's looking. Go to the glass. Off, and it's good. He's fouled, and it's good. They were hanging on to Matt Pugh. He sort of swung it around, laid it in there, and it's going to make it a 5-point game. Matt Pugh with a chance to make it a 6-point difference.
Pugh broke open so quickly, Tim. They got the ball to him.
As Gaines checks back in for North Georgia, Pugh at the line to shoot at 1. 1:20 to go. Clock's moving too slow for us. Pugh shots up. It misses, and he's going to get another shot at it.
That was a lane violation.
Pugh back to shoot another.
Oh, what a break.
He sets. It's up, and it's good.
Make the most of that mistake by Southwestern.
All right, clock's moving. All right, now it's moving.
22 right here. 22.
Harris is working. Looking to drive. Pulls up with a shot. It's up, and it's good. And Southwestern grabs a quick timeout. That's going to full.
And we'll take a timeout also. Our final timeout of the ball game. Return with more action here on AM 1210 and STC.
You frozen yet?
Just the surface, you.
A little soft in the middle.
We're cracking up back here, boss. I'm frozen first. I'm frozen down in front. Anything but Coca-Cola and we melt.
I love it. Give me that Coca-Cola.
You fool out! Hey, nice ceiling fan. That's Coca-Cola.
Ooh, that tickles.
I'm just gonna float around and soak this up for a while. Delicious.
It's the pageantry of college basketball on AM 1210 and STC. Tim, what a game, what a doubleheader we have seen as Southwestern and North Georgia battling each other.
And we wanted to see the crown put on the Lady Saints tonight to take over first place. And North Georgia inbounds the ball back over to Clyde, and Clyde was on what they call a foul. I thought they called Clyde on the line. So we're going to be shooting 2 fouls. It's moved 10 seconds since we was down there last. 66-62.
Matt Pugh will be going to the line, Tim. According to Cornell.
Yes, it is. Pugh at the line.
He can seal the game right here.
And we're up 4. And shots up, it's good. It's a 2-possession game as Gaines checks in. North Georgia going to finish the night out with Daniel Brown, Pugh, Vince Ray, and Clyde Thompson. Webster Daniels had some good minutes off the bench.
Yes, he has.
And Pugh makes it a 6-point game. And North Georgia's going to take a full timeout.
Here at home at Memorial Hall, the dog pound was rocking earlier on. Cadets still trying to be that 6th man for the Saints. What a second half Randy Dunn's team has had. They haven't been that effective so far this season. They've seen it all here for the last game.
Most effective I've seen North Georgia as they come back from a 13-point deficit. They could have folded it up and went home, but they maintained, just like the Southwestern ladies did in the first game. And Harris takes a 3. It's no good. And it goes off a Southwestern player's hands. And it's going to be Thompson to kick it in. And they're looking, he better get it in, and North Georgia calls a timeout. So they couldn't get the ball in. They were running out of time.
And
got to run out of timeouts here in a second. Somebody does.
Well, you get 4 per game, and I think they've used about all of them. Let's tell everybody, too, Tim, how we appreciate them being with us throughout the season. It's been an experimental situation for you and I and for STC and AM 12. We hope you've enjoyed our broadcast of North Georgia basketball on the radio and television this year. We hope to continue bringing you the action throughout the playoffs. The GAC tournament begins in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll be able to be with you. We'd love for you to go out, and if you enjoyed our broadcast, tell the sponsors in our area that you've enjoyed them participating and bringing you the action, because without our sponsors it would have been totally impossible.
And remind everyone to keep tuned in to WDGR and STC and maintain the upcoming schedule if there's going to be any conference games broadcast. And also if one of the teams go to the Nationals, we'll share that schedule on the radio. And it's going to be Matt Pugh back at the line. We're inside 1 minute. They're taking off 10 seconds of the shot here. 68-62 is the score. North Georgia's building it up to 6. A couple more could really just put this thing out of reach. Pugh's up, his shot's good.
And think about this too, Tim. You got the senior Matt Pugh from Jefferson High School in Jefferson, Georgia. You got to think when he first signed a scholarship here at North Georgia, he said, yes, this is a hot situation I'd like to be in.
And he's at the line to convert a second one. It's 70-62. We've built it to 8. North Georgia's going to go on the road to finish up the season. They're going to be at Southern Tech this Saturday. Actually, then they're going to be finishing up the season at Rome on February 26th. And North Georgia's going to be back at the line with a chance to build this thing up to 10. And a 10-point difference is not reflective of how this game really went tonight.
Not at all, Tim.
It's going to be Clyde shooting these two. And Clyde's shot's up, and it's good.
I think what does prove, though, Tim, is the perseverance of this North Georgia team.
They're going to move to 9-5 on the season.
In the GAC.
In the GAC, and a win at Shorter and a win at Southern Tech could give them 11 wins. As a three-point shot misses, Southwestern pulls up 4-3, and it's good. 40 seconds on the shot clock. And that makes it 72-65, 7-point difference. So we could finish with 11 wins. I mean,
and that's really tremendous.
And Clyde with the ball. And he's nearly tackled, and he's going to be at the line to shoot another couple.
Also, this is going to be the 15th victory of the season for the Saints overall. They will improve to 15-14.
You know, you got to think back. North Georgia's played some tough compadres early on in the season, and I think that was part of Coach Randy Dunn's master plan. Build that experience up for situations like tonight.
Well, remember, Tim, is that when we brought our viewers our first broadcast at Berry game, the Saints were 5-7 at that time. Here they are now. It'll be 15-14.
But look at the conference record. That's the main thing, 9-5. And we wish them luck. You know, at Southern Tech, there's a good chance that they could come out on top there and have a 10-win conference season.
But it comes back to playing on the road, how difficult it is in the GAC.
And we're inside 35 seconds, 74-65. It's back up to 9. Harris takes a 3. Rebound, back up, missed. Webster Daniel with a rebound. They're fighting underneath, and they're going to call Webster Daniel with a foul. 25 seconds to go, and Southwestern is going to be at the line to shoot 2.
I still don't feel comfortable about this. I won't say it's a victory, Tim, but you can say, let's end this game.
Johans Thompson and North Georgia is going to call a timeout. Johans Thompson will be at the line when we come out of the timeout.
We'll take a quick one. Timeout here on AM 1210 and STC with more college basketball after this.
Last year, thousands of Georgians remembered to call the Utilities Protection Center before they dug. They remembered to look for the colorful flags marking underground utilities. Too bad not everyone remembered.
Billy Joe, just 7 million more lines to cut before you're through.
That's the day that the lights went out in Georgia. When we lost our gas and telephone too.
If you don't see the flags, don't dig.
Saints leading 74-65.
And North Georgia has one more timeout to take as Johans Thompson is at the line. His shot's up, and it's no good. North Georgia just bit away and kept biting at that 13-point lead. Now they built a nice lead to finish the game off. And Thompson's second shot is up, and it's good. And 25 seconds to go, 74-66. And Thompson, I don't know what he was doing then. Looked to go long, lost the ball. They've cut it 74-68. It's down to a two-possession game. And Scott knocks it out of bounds. This game's not over yet.
Let's don't get crazy now, guys.
And they're going to get Shumbay in to handle some possessions. He's their ball handler. Thompson looked like he was going to try to go long, I think, and lost it and tried to work it in. They get it into Shumbay. 23 seconds. He's working it. Feed it over to Augustus. He stows one down. And that's 76-68. 17 seconds. A tray. It misses. And it goes out of bounds to North Georgia.
Just get the ball in bounds, get it past midcourt, then hit a free throw if you need to.
12.5. And they feed it into Vince Ray. And he's quickly fouled, and he's going to be at the line to shoot two.
Well, we didn't get across midcourt, but we did get the foul.
That'll work. Put him at the line. And that's going to be 5 fouls called on Scott. And checking back in the game is going to be Dees. It's going to be a long trip back to Americas tonight for both teams from Georgia Southwestern. As Vince Ray is going to be at the line. Tremendous team effort by North Georgia in the comeback. And Ray misses his shot. 11.3 to go. As Ray tries the next one, it's up and it's good.
3-possession game.
77-68. And they're under 10. He turns them back to the middle. Looking to feed it. Harris takes a three. It's no good. 3 seconds. He takes another shot, lays it in, good, with 0.6 seconds, and that'll be your ball game, folks. North Georgia wins this thing, 77-70.
Congratulations to the Saints as they win this game. They are now tied with Georgia Southwestern in the GAC. We'll come back and wrap up our coverage of college basketball on AM 1210 and STC after this.
Discover one of the nation's best-kept secrets, right here in Georgia. Discover a liberal arts institution dedicated to educating men and women and designed to train leaders. Discover North Georgia College. North Georgia provides a balanced educational environment featuring over 50 majors in its undergraduate, graduate, and pre-professional programs. North Georgia strives to develop leadership through participation in activities such as its award-winning Student Government Association and its nationally recognized ROTC program. With numerous scholarship programs and a low student-faculty ratio, North Georgia College offers the very best value in public education. Since 1873, North Georgia has provided excellent academic programs, leadership training, and a solid foundation for students to succeed. Discover North Georgia College and discover the leader within.
Good news for North Georgia as the Saints sweep a doubleheader against Georgia Southwestern. Mike Wofford, Tim Whitmire back with you as we wrap up our coverage here of college basketball at AM 1210 and STC. In the women's game, it was the Lady Saints on top, 68-59, and in the men's game, it was North Georgia winning by a final of 77-71. And Tim, second half, what a difference it makes for the Saints.
North Georgia fell down by 13 and just kept chipping away at that difference. Come back and won this thing, basically taking control in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Great team play led by an effort by Gus Brown. He was all over the court for North Georgia. And Clyde Thompson was finishing at the top of the scoring charts for North Georgia once again.
And let's look at that too, Tim, as we got a chance here. It was Clyde Thompson leading the way with 23 points. Then you had Matt Pugh in there with 17. What a second half Matt had also. Then you had Augustus Brown with 13. Webster Daniel had 10. He had some excellent minutes when he came in for Earl Seaman when he came out of the ball game. So 4 Saints in double figures in the game for North Georgia. And what a well-rounded team effort it was for the Saints in this victory over Georgia Southwestern. North Georgia improves to 15-14 overall. More importantly, though, they improved to 9-5 in the GAC. They're tied with Southwestern for that number 3 spot. They clinched the number 4 spot, so that means we're playing here at home in the opening round of the GAC tournament, which comes up in a couple of weeks. And Tim, there are 8 teams that make the tournament. It could be a trip. Hopefully, let's get real crazy about this. Let's have this trip to the national tournament. The women play in Jackson, Tennessee. Men go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's see how far we can go.
We can make both road trips. You mentioned Webster Daniel. He come off the bench. He had some tremendous minutes for North Georgia. He was a key. Like we said, he scored 10 points. Another player we cannot overlook is the play of Vince Ray.
Yes.
He was on the boards a lot tonight, making things happen for North Georgia. We mentioned Pugh. We mentioned Brown. We mentioned Clyde Thompson. Good, strong performance by all of those, and great coaching by Coach Randy Dunn and Jason Gibson for North Georgia in the men's victory.
What it means is that we've come down to the end of the regular season. This is the final regular season game at home for the Saints. They'll be on the road for the final 2 games. Real tough to win on the road in the GAC. The Saints travel to Marietta to take on Southern Tech, then end the season with a doubleheader as the women and men will take on Shorter next Thursday in Rome. Then we'll find out about the seeding for the upcoming GAC tournament. For the men, they'll play the weekend of the 5th, 6th, and 7th of March, while the women, they take days off in between their tournament. They'll play on the 4th, 6th, and 9th of March, and then it's on to the national tournament. As we wrap up our coverage here of college basketball during the regular season, AM 1210 and STC, I want to take our chance to thank everyone for being part of our broadcast, you, the viewer and listener, also to the coaches Randy Dunn, Bucky Burson-Watson, also their assistants Mike Davenport, Jason Gibson, the administration here at North Georgia College and State University, to our friends at STC and AM 1210, to the administration and management of those 2 facilities, to our cameraman John Moon, who sent us out here in the second half of the season, bringing you the pictures and the description. Tim Whitmire and myself, we appreciate you being with us throughout the season. We've got some good comments. Hope to do this some more, Tim.
And don't forget the sports information director up here, Joe Meyer.
Right, can't forget
thanks to him.
The forest for the trees, of course, Joe Meyer providing the information to me throughout the season. Also is our friend Larry Thompson, the SID down at Georgia Southwestern, who does the internet access for the Georgia Athletic Conference. Got all the information we'd ever want to know about these 2 teams for this ball game. And also our thanks to our sponsors of college basketball on AM 1210 and STC. Our game was brought to you by Amicalola EMC, by Checkers, by Coca-Cola, by Cody Chevrolet Oldsmobile Geo, also by Country Covered, by Danny's Restaurant, North Georgia College and State University, by the ROTC program here at NGCSU, and by Wachovia. Once again, the sweep for the Saints. The women win 68-59, and in the men's game, it was the Saints on top 77-71. Well, that's going to do it for us for the regular season. Stay tuned to both AM 1210 WDGR and to STC. We'll see if we can continue bringing you the best in college basketball here in North Georgia. For Tim Whitmire, I'm Mike Walker. Until next time, good night, everyone.
North Georgia College and State University basketball, presented by STC.